Hey guys, so I realized I never told the story about what happened literally the day before my birthday, as to what caused Mike and I to have a falling out and why we're no longer friends. We no longer associate with each other except for to exchange Macs. But I'm ready to tell that story now. So I'm not going to say that I have no fault in the incident that took place. But I'm not to blame as to why he's still to this day refusing to speak to me. So here's what went down. On Friday, January 31st, we, being Joe and I, Bestie and I, went and did our monthly Costco shop with Mike and his sister-in-law, as we did every month when our disability checks would go in. So we drove from downtown Guelph up to Mike's house, back across town to Costco, and then we were to go back across town to Mike's house. And then about 2 hours from that trip, I had an appointment with the foot specialist that was literally around the corner from Mike's house. In a moment, I will literally post the trip just to give you guys a better understanding of the distance that was traveled that day. Now, not at any given time did we ask for compensation for gas to drive from downtown Guelph to the far south end, back across town to the northern west end or western north end, then back to the far south end again, and so on and so forth. As we're in line to check out, I said, "Hey Mike, would it be all right with you if we hung out for a couple hours? Because I literally have an appointment around the corner from your house, and to go back downtown and back again would be a very huge waste in gas." And he snapped at me and said, "No, I told you I want time to myself today." I said, "Well, I get that, but it's literally a couple hours, and we just drove across town and back again to help you out." And again, he said, "I said no." And so I snapped back, said, "Oh, right, because your little girlfriend said no, because she, quote unquote, was evicted from her house and had to move in with Mike." And the reason I put that in quotes is because she never received an eviction notice, nor did it go to the landlord tenant board, who's the ones that can only ones who can actually evict you in Ontario. No, her landlord or her ex, whoever it was she was living with or whatever, simply told her because she didn't have a job, her doctor refused to put her out on EI sick leave, and she was not eligible for ODSP because she had too many assets, because she technically had her name on two vehicles, her ex's vehicle and her vehicle, so she had too many assets, so she's not eligible for disability, and her doctor refused to put her on EI sick leave because he didn't think she needed to be. So she had zero income and wasn't paying rent. So she was apparently being evicted. So she had to move in with him. And I knew the second she was moving in, shit was going to hit the fan. Things were going to change. And I've been right so far about almost everything. One thing, as far as I know, hasn't changed, but the rest has. Anyway, so I said, "Yeah, because your little girlfriend says no." He's like, "She's not even going to be home." And I'm like, "So then what's the harm in me staying so I don't have to run back downtown and back again? Like, that's a lot of gas." Joe looked at me and said, "Elizabeth, knock it off. Not in the middle of the store. Knock it off." So I shut up. Now, I was extremely frustrated, and so I ended up having tears building up because I was so angry and so frustrated. And Mike, like he's liked to do, like he's always done, started poking me. "Oh, look at her. Now she's crying. Oh, boo-hoo. I said no." And Joe's like, Mike, I just told her to knock it off. Knock it the fuck off. And he's like, well, not my fault. She can't take no for an answer. I was like, it's not that I can't take no. I said, I'm pissed off at the fact that we just did all this for you, and you're making me have to go back home and back again, which is a waste of money. It's a lot of money when gas is so expensive. And he just continued to poke at me. I can't even remember everything he said. Joe's like, we will deal with this later. So we check out, we get in the van, we start heading towards Mike's house. His sister-in-law asked if we could stop at the vape store so she could run in and get a couple vapes. So while she was in the vape store, I said, so we're going to talk about this? And Joe's like, well, I figured you and I would have the conversation about it later. Me and you could hash it out. You could yell at me. You could fight with me. I'd take it. And then basically Mike just started, saying whatever he was saying. Again, I can't remember. And I, at this point, had enough. And I completely lashed out and said some very hurtful things. And then Marion, the sister-in-law, came back to the van, opened the door, and unfortunately I screamed the same thing as her. She opened the door. Just basically it was the wrong time, wrong place. It wasn't her fault, and I feel awful for saying everything that I said, especially to her. She wasn't even a part of the argument. I was just so angry in that moment that I wasn't even thinking anymore, and I was just screaming. So Mike said, fuck you, and got out of my van and started walking to his house. And I said, fuck this shit, and I jumped out of my van and started walking too. Joe started heading to Mike's house, pulled over, picked Mike up, and took him home so they could empty their groceries, and then came back and got me. Like, I was so angry that my adrenaline was running, and I was literally walking to Mike's house, which is about, I don't know, probably 10 blocks or a little bit more from the pharmacy vape shop. And I was feeling no pain in that moment. Let me tell you, I paid for it later. We then went to Mike's house together so I could get Max, because it was supposed to be my weekend with Max. And I tried to talk to Mike, and again, he wasn't listening. He was poking the bear. He closed the door on me, and I started banging on his door. And I admit, the glass in his door ended up breaking. It was a double pane glass, and I froze. I apologized. I've offered to pay to fix it. He told me to leave. And since that day, he has said he wants nothing to do with me. He doesn't want me texting him no more. I've been told no contact by the police. Everything because he says so. As you all know, I had to go to his place and collect all of my belongings. I'm now having to pay for a storage locker for all those belongings. As we were there, I said to him, Mike, do you mind if I use your washroom? I really have to take a piss. And this way we can finish up cleaning out the garage and get out of your hair. He's like, 1 minute. He goes inside and literally had to ask his girlfriend's permission for me to walk into the front door and take a piss at the bathroom that's right inside the front door. That's how whipped she's got him at this point. And the things that I'm right that's changed, he doesn't video game no more at all. He has admitted that he hasn't video gamed since she's moved in. He doesn't speak to Joe anymore at all. Except for to communicate about Max, because he won't talk to me, so all that goes through Joe. Other than that, he doesn't speak to Joe anymore. He doesn't do anything he used to do. As far as I know, D&D still happens. Other than that, everything he used to do, he doesn't do anymore because she doesn't want him to. So that's the story. That's why Mike and I are no longer friends, because his girlfriend has said that he's not allowed to be friends with me. His girlfriend has said that he's not allowed to be my friend. And that's that. So you may have to pause, but this is how long it would have taken, the kilometers driven, had he made me go back home before my appointment. Like he was forcing me to.